think it's just getting the film out there for people to see, because I think it has an incredibly relevant message, which is about, we're watching totalitarian regimes spring up around the world. We're watching at the moment with what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, the kind of the bully boy sort of tactics, and what happens when you want to control a space or take over a space or whatever. And generally in those regimes, it's about one of the first people, the group of people to be singled out are artists, because those voices are very dangerous. There's people, of course, in Parliament or whatever, or there's politicians that can make some kind of change, but it's the old hearts and minds thing that you really want to capture the hearts and minds of ordinary people to get your message across. And one of the great ways of doing that is always through art, whether it's kind of music or painting or particularly film, that you can make a difference with that. And I think the film really makes people confront the issues that the world is facing, that's kind of been, that people often don't think about. A lot of ordinary people wouldn't necessarily think that an artist or whoever they are, a writer or a filmmaker or whatever, can change things. But historically, we know that's the case. And it's very much the case that those people need to have their voices represented, and that work needs to be out in the world. But you look at the history of any kind of major political activity or whatever, and ultimately it's the popular arts that make a difference. You know, Hitler understood that with Goebbels. Goebbels was a brilliant brain, horrific person, but a brilliant brain at working out how to sell certain things that wanted to be sold through National Socialism to a wide audience. And he recognised that the popular arts were a very, very important thing, which is why his film division was tremendously, or the people that they financed, was tremendously important to them. The films that were made are horrific, but they're cast in a popular form. And that's the greatest way to get through to people. So I really hope that we can get this film to as many people as possible. And this is the beginning of that process. But the wonderful thing about the film, I would say, is it is utterly timeless, because although the version that we have at the moment has been made along as a British-Ukrainian film, so it started as a purely British enterprise, and then some people that Pauline knew recognised its value for what's happening in Ukraine at the moment, and it was suggested that we would produce a Ukrainian version, which is immensely powerful, I think, because it resonates very much as the story of today. There could be versions of this film dubbed into any number of languages, and it would absolutely stay relevant. It has a very universal theme. It's specifically about an artist imprisoned by an unnamed regime, but that applies so widely that I think that just to have told that story and alert people to the danger of it, you can't get people necessarily to rise up on the streets and do things, but they can be a lot more aware of the forces that are happening behind the scenes. And whether it's people being influenced on social media or whatever, we see it happening all the time. So the more positive the voice and the more flagging the dangers of what's happening for people, I think the better. And that's really my hope about the film, is that I hope that Pauline's vision will be seen by as many people as possible.